Hey there everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to knit a lateral braid, which is these little sideways braids you see across in this knitting here. I believe it's also called a Vikkel braid because it's an Estonian technique. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And this is a pattern called treads, and I'll provide a link to it in case you want to try it out. But it's basically just this little sideways thing. It's really pretty once it's done, and it looks harder than it really is. So let's get started. I'm working in the round, but I'm sure there are some ways that you can do it flat too. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by making a make one right. And to do that, you're going to kind of pull apart the last stitch of the last round and the first stitch of the next round. And when you see that, you'll see a little laddering thing here. And what you're going to do is pull up the top one here and insert your left needle tip from back to front. And you're going to take your new needle and knit in the front of that stitch that you just pulled up. So you have your make one right on your right needle. Now what you're going to do is you're going to pass that stitch back onto the left hand needle. So you have your make one back on the left needle, and now what you're going to do is you are going to knit into the back of the second stitch on your left needle. Not the one that you just made, but this one, the second one. Knit into the back of that stitch. So kind of tilt it and then knit into the back of that stitch. Just pull up the back there. Knit into it. And leave that stitch on the needle. Don't pull it off just yet. Then what you're going to do is you're going to knit into the front of the new stitch, the make one right, knit into the front of it like normal. And then so you have two stitches on your right hand needle. And now you're going to drop both of those stitches off the left needle. So you have two stitches on your right needle, two new stitches that you just made. Now pass the newest made stitch, the one that the yarn is currently coming off of, the closest to the tip on your right needle. Pass it to the left hand needle. So now you have kind of these stitches. There's kind of a gap there, but don't worry about that. And you're going to repeat the process that you just did. So knit into the second stitch in the back of the stitch. Knit into the back of the second stitch. Leave it on the left needle. Then knit into the front of the first stitch. And then drop them both. And now move the newest stitch back onto the left needle. And you can already see kind of the little braid forming there. And you're going to do that all the way around. So just keep repeating, knitting into the back of the second stitch. Leave it on the needle, front of the first stitch, pass them off the needle, and move the newest stitch onto the left needle. When you come to a corner, like you will if you're working on DPNs, like if you're, this is the last stitch on my left needle, so you're going to do it just like normal. You slip the last made stitch onto the left needle, knit into the back of the second stitch, now the front of the first stitch, and you slide them both off. But now you're going to slide this stitch onto the next needle. So now you have the braid from this side right here, all across here, and now you repeat it on all of your needles. Or if you're doing a circular needle or anything else, then I guess you don't really need to worry about that. Just keep going until you reach the end of the round. So the back of the second stitch, front of the first stitch, drop them both, move this stitch to the left needle, back of the second, front of the first, pull it through and off and pass it. Okay, so I'm on my last needle here. Back of the second stitch, front of the first stitch, okay, we're getting close to the end of the round here, and I'm going to show you what to do. You just keep doing it all the way to the end like you have been doing, knitting into the back of the second stitch in the front of the first stitch, all the way to the last stitch. Okay, so now all of the needles have had the braid done on it. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to join the rounds, because right now you have an extra stitch from when you made one at the beginning, remember? So what you're going to do is you're going to move the first stitch of the next round, so this stitch right here, onto the right needle without knitting it. Do not knit this stitch. Then, with the tip of your left needle, tuck it underneath the second stitch on the right needle and pass it over the first stitch like you're doing a bind off. Then tighten the stitch and then move it back to the left needle. And then you're going to do the next round like normal. So here's your finished braid. This is what it should look like.